All right, I think we're live. Let me refresh my YouTube so I can have a picture. Come on, YouTube. All right, there I am. Hi. Hi, guys. How are you all doing tonight? You're going to see something very special on my screen. And yeah, we're going to start off talking about that beautiful woman sitting next to me over there. Today is the 1 month anniversary of Denise Rainey's passing. And I just wanted her here with me tonight. So that's why she is on your screen. She's here with us. I think she's here with us all. So I wanted to make sure we all remembered her tonight. Mods, if you get a chance, can you drop a link to Denise Rainey's channel in the chat? For any of you who don't know her, she began covering this case. And I picked up where she ended when she left us, just to, because I didn't want her work to come to an end. This case meant everything to her. She wanted justice for JJ and Tylee so badly. She wanted to find them, and then she wanted justice for them. So that's why we're here. That's why we're doing this. We're doing this for Denise. We're doing this for JJ and Tylee and Charles and Tammy and Joseph and maybe even Alex, but that's a different case. So yeah, I miss her dearly every second of every day. And so tonight she's with us. So I'm also going to drop the resolution on my camera because I am all blurry again. Guys, I'm trying to get that to stop doing it, but we're just going to have to see. Let's see if that'll get a little bit better. All right, I'm all nice and clear in StreamYard, just not on YouTube. So, Brooke, you didn't know? Oh my goodness, I'm sorry, Brooke. I thought for sure you knew. Anyway, Denise is with us tonight, and she, I'm sure, would have a whole lot to say about what's going on with this case. So we have a lot to talk about tonight. Oh, man. Anyway, let's see. Hi, everyone in chat. Hi, Linda. Hi, Stormy. Hi, Sarah. Bridget Johnson. Brooke, how you doing? Barcy B, how are you? Manuela, so nice to see you again. Oh, man, I'm glad to see all the friendly names in chat. Today's been kind of a tough day. It's a rough anniversary for me and for a lot of us. So, yeah. Anyway, hi, Jess. How are you? I hope you're feeling good. Leah and Cherie, or I don't recall. Nice to see you. Tina. All right, so a lot happened this week in the case. We had the 2 hearings. We had the probable cause affidavits that came out. So we're going to go over all of that. One of the first things that I want to talk about, though, and I'm sorry for licking my teeth. I'm so nervous I'm going to get lipstick all over my teeth and I won't know it. A lot of people are up in arms because the desertion charges against Lori Vallow have been dropped. The charges against Lori Vallow as a whole have not been dropped. It's okay. All right. The desertion charges, the felony abandonment charges about the kids, are dropped, obviously, because now we know that the kids are no longer with us. Those charges no longer stand. That's all. Nothing's going to happen. She's not going to get out of jail. She's not facing any less consequences because of that, right? There are a lot of people clickbaiting that right now. Some person, defense attorney, you know who I'm talking about. I think that's incredibly irresponsible, but she's fine. She's in jail. She's not going anywhere. Don't worry about it. That's just procedural. All right. You can't charge her with desertion of a minor when the minors are now deceased. So there you go. Anyway. Yeah, bipolar. That's exactly what she'd be saying. Oh, goodness. So yeah, do not fret about the charges. They did not lower the bail. She's still held on $1 million bail. No bail bondsman's going to touch her. So I don't think we have anything to worry about when it comes to Lori being in jail. So there you go. Yeah, the charges have changed. Yep. Tara, that's a much better way to say that. They've changed from the desertion to the conspiracy to conceal, destroy, or alter evidence. And there will be more charges. Guarantee it. So we don't have to worry. Yeah, so we have to just be aware of the clickbaity nature of that. Twitter has been going crazy all day with, oh my God, they dropped the charges against Lori. And I'm like, no, guys, come on. But certain people have been promoting that to get views. So whatever. Anyway, so that's good news. So let's go over a quick recap of the news. I've got my list over here of stuff to talk about, but then I can't see chat if I look at that. Let's see. What's up with Tammy's autopsy results? They have not been released yet. The last official word was that the autopsy examination and testing is still ongoing. So they'll be released when they're ready for that. I think that's going to tie into some more charges. Remember that they said in April that they are looking at Tammy's death investigation, and they're looking at Chad and Lori for murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and attempted murder when it comes to Tammy. So, that they're doing a lot of work on that. So we just got to be patient. The charges dropped, held larger jail time. The charges don't count. You can't charge someone with those charges when those children are dead. So it doesn't matter. As far as jail time, she's not getting out of jail. The conspiracy charge will cover anything that happens. There's a really good reason they charged her with conspiracy to conceal or destroy or alter evidence. Very good reason. All right, so please don't worry. She's not getting out. She's not getting out in 5 years. She's not getting out in 10 years. She's not getting out in 25 years. Okay, it's not going to happen. So it'll all be good. Let's see. Sharon Hoffman, first time on your live chat. I wanted to say that I have 2 kids of my own around the same age as Tylee and JJ. I couldn't imagine doing that to my kids. Yep. I'm glad you're here, Sharon. Welcome, and I totally agree with you. Sister Squad says, what about the niece? I'm guessing you mean Melanie Pulowski. There are no charges against her yet, but what we know from the custody filing in the case between her and Brandon Boudreaux, that she is at least a person of interest in 2 investigations, including the attempted shooting on Brandon, as well as JJ and Tylee's death. So she's definitely not out of the woods. All right, so we'll see what happens with Miss Melanie Pulowski. Talk about what Annie Cushing is doing on Twitter. Yep, let's talk about that. Actually, let me show you what Annie Cushing is doing on Twitter. This is going to lead us into the big conversation I wanted to have tonight. Let me find Annie's tweet. Where is it? Here we go. All right, I'm going to share the screen because she asked us to. Hold on, let me find it. Let me make it big so when I share the screen, it'll be big and front and center. All right, Annie Cushing, if any of you don't know, is Joseph Ryan's sister and Tylee Ryan's aunt. Annie Cushing on Twitter. All right, here we go. You should be able to see that. Now, these documents, you won't be able to read them here. I will put them up in the Discord channel so you can read them yourself. What she's doing is she's really looking into the circumstances surrounding pretty much every aspect of the case, but her focus has been on her brother's death, Joseph Ryan. Now, what she found here are some legal documents that describe an encounter that happened between Joseph, Tylee, Charles, probably Alex, it says another male, and Lori, that show her and what I think is a key to understanding what's happening in this entire case. So Annie Cushing has this on Twitter. If you're not following her, it's at Annie Cushing. Please give her a follow. Please find this tweet and retweet it. What she said in the Facebook group was, let's storm the Citadel with this tweet, which means let's get it out there. All right. Basically what she says, Gilbert Police, you had previous experience with Lori Vallow being a sociopathic menace to Joe Ryan, dating as far back as 2009. Did you even drop her name in your database when she sashayed into your interview room with Melanie Gibb and Tylee Ryan? All right, what she's talking about there is when Lori went to the Gilbert Police Department to try and get Joseph in trouble, or Charles in trouble, for stealing her purse out of her car, when what Charles was doing was trying to get her picked up for a psych hold, and they just let her waltz right on out of there. They didn't take Charles seriously at all again. So, yeah, there's so many problems with that part of the case. It's crazy. So give Annie Cushing a follow, and we are going to talk about Lori and her psychology. There's my StreamYard. Okay, there we go. Now, there were some documents that came out this morning, and they were posted somewhere. And by now, they've probably been posted all over the place. And I would love to just put them up on the screen and say, here, let's talk about them. But I can't verify the veracity of these documents. I can't tell you if they're true. I can't tell you if they're fake. I can't tell you where they came from, who the origin was, who posted them. I know nothing about the origin of these documents. All right. What they purport to show is a psychosexual evaluation that was ordered on Joseph Ryan when Tylee made a report of sexual abuse by Joseph. Now, they're very interesting. Oh, I got a super chat. I'm sorry. I was tabbed out looking at Twitter. Who is that from? I want to say thank you. Sam Bartholow. Love this community. Thank you for all you do. Sam, I'm so glad you love the community. And welcome to the chat. One thing that I love is our community. So I'm so glad that you can appreciate that and they've made you feel welcome. So thank you for being here. All right, back to these documents. I did put the documents up in our Discord server so we can talk about them. I don't really like doing that unless I can tell you where the documents came from, unless I can tell you that they're genuine. All right. I can't do that with these, and I don't like that, but they're really important to understanding Lori's psychology if they are genuine. All right. Now, I made a video on my Patreon the other day. It just went up yesterday. I made it a while ago. About talking about narcissism and Chad and Lori and my thoughts on all of that, because a lot of people, whenever we have big cases like this, throw the N-word around like it's candy, and it doesn't always apply to the situation. And in this situation, I think we're seeing something a little different than most people expect. I think, my personal opinion, okay, this is not based on fact or evidence or whatever. This is me looking at the case, understanding narcissism, and applying it to the players involved. I think Lori was the ringleader. I think if you have to label either of them a narcissist, it would be Lori. Now, when I talk about narcissism, I say something very unpopular, and that narcissists always come with a codependent. They're two sides of the same coin. Although their motives may be very different, they operate sometimes in very similar ways. All right, so I believe that Lori was the one who brought out some of Chad's worst intentions. Now, Chad is crazy. Chad's crazy. He believes some crazy things. Chad wanted the limelight. He wanted to be popular. I think he was the guy in school who's always striving to be popular. We hear they always hung out with the jocks. Not that he was one. That's key, that he hung out with the jocks, so I think he's always been striving for popularity and striving for validation and acceptance. And he thought making himself the leader of the 144,000 was a way to at least get 144,000 fans, but I don't think if left to his own devices, Chad would have gone on a murder spree. I think a lot of that came from Lori, and I can get into the whole psychology of how narcissists and codependents feed off each other and bring out the worst in each other. And that's what we have going here. Now, the documents that were released this morning really make that patently obvious, okay? But I don't really want to bring those to you until I can at least verify that they're genuine documents. These are documents that it seems that Annie Cushing has never even seen, which really makes me question them. All right, so we have to take them with a grain of salt. But I will look into that. However, the documents that Annie Cushing herself posted this afternoon echo the same thing. Lori and her level of manipulation and coercive control and lies, and this is what Lori does. This is what she's always done. The case and the documents from Annie Cushing took place in 2009. Okay, this is not something she just woke up in 2018 and decided to do. She's always done this. All right. So anyway, we can get into all of that in a much deeper dive at some point, but it's fascinating. I'm starting to get all the pieces the psychological puzzle pieces put into place, and it's all starting to fit now, and create a roadmap of how all of this happened. And that's one thing that when I approach true crime, I want to know, why did this happen? That's the biggest question I always have. Why? Why did they do that? Why did they do this? Why did they say that? And that's what I look at. So that's the angle that I approach these cases on. If that's not the angle for you, I'm sorry. I will still bring you all the news and stuff, but that's tend to where I focus. So I want to know why 6 people are dead. And I'm starting to get a pretty good idea of that. So anyway, let's look at chat. I haven't been reading chat. Chrissy Lee said, I'm sure I was about to get upset when you said some people were throwing around the N-word. And I'm pretty sure I had the word wrong in my... Oh goodness, Chrissy. Narcissist. That's the only N-word we allow on this channel. All the others would be immediately blocked. So, yeah, no, not that word. I'm not going there. Manuel said, as I said before, Lori and Chad are 2 dangerous storms with the same eye. Mm-hmm. Yep, and you put the 2 of them together, and you got problems. Mark Denning, hi from Idaho. Hi, Mark. How are you, Idaho Falls? Idaho Falls in the house. And there's a link to the True Crime Underground Facebook group. That is the group where Annie Cushing posts, and a lot of other great people post there. But again, it's a Facebook group, everything with a grain of salt. So, when people talk about her being a great person before she met Chad, I rolled my eyes. She didn't change. She just got a new road to travel on. OE, exactly. Little Lady Di, thank you so much. Look at that sticker. That's so cool. My #1 fan. Little Lady Di and I have known each other a long time. When I made my first Toxic Bliss podcast, she was one of the first people that listened to it. So thank you, Little Lady Di. I'd appreciate that a lot. Mark Denning, I'm doing pretty good. It's been a little bit of a struggle today, dealing with the anniversary of a death of this beautiful lady you see right next to me. And so I wanted her with me tonight. That's why she is on my screen. Oh, man. It's okay, Chrissy. I'm glad we cleared that up, though, and you didn't think that was the N-word I was talking about. Hot Scorpio Rouge says, I think Brandon Boudreaux must be so much more concerned for his children having to identify poor JJ. Yeah, I'm very sad that he had to do that, too. And I think that probably, like you said, it drove everything real home and real forefront for him. So he realized if something hadn't happened, if he hadn't gotten custody of his children, at least insofar as the custody battle's going, those could have been his kids, very easily. So, I can't imagine what Brandon's going through. I just can't. But speaking of Brandon, another thing that we did have this week is we had a statement from the Ryan, the Vallow Woodcock, and the Boudreaux families talking about services for the children. And what they said is that once the bodies are released to their care, which they have not been, they will plan memorial services in 3 different locations. I believe it was Idaho, Louisiana, and I can't remember. If you remember, please put it in chat. But they're going to be planning memorial services. But they ask for continued privacy as they go through this, and they'll put out a statement once they can schedule them. So that is in my update video from yesterday if you want to go see the full statement and hear me read it out. Arizona. Thank you, Pyro Alyssa. Yeah. There's too many facts. I can't keep it all straight in my head. I need like a notepad up here on my desk so I can see everything at once. The only family group who put out an empathetic statement, Bridget, absolutely. We saw statements from the Cox family. We saw a Summer statement. We saw Melanie Pulowski's statement, and they're terrible. They're tone deaf. They're self-serving. They're me. Oh, I could not with those. Could not. Oh, my goodness. Yes, the Rexburg, Idaho, Arizona, Louisiana. Yes. Thank you, Mark Denny. So yeah, as soon as we know, when the families release that, we'll know about where these will be held, and maybe they'll do a charity drive or something like that in honor of the kids. So I'll let you know anything that comes up about that. I am Tammy Sue. When are they going to bring murder charges? Tammy Sue, that's going to take a while. It's going to take a while. The first thing is they can't charge them with murder right now, because if they tried, they don't have the evidence yet collected and collated to back that up, and they could get found not guilty and walk out of jail. It's much better for them to take their time with the investigation and get all of their ducks in a row and then bring the charges when they know they can secure an conviction. Remember, the autopsies are not finished on the children yet. They just said, what was it, last week or early this week, that they are still waiting on ancillary testing that could take several weeks. So they won't be able to bring those charges until all of that information is done, all of the electronic data has been sorted through, and it takes a while. It's not easy to do a murder investigation, but I can assure you there will be charges as soon as all of that's done. So, is it true that Melanie P thinks some of her kids are zombies? Amy Rose, that is actually, well, I assume it's true. It is in Brandon's court documents, and the source of that is Melanie Gibb. Melanie Gibb is willing to testify on behalf of Brandon in the custody case that Melanie Pulowski told her that 2 of her children were zombies. And remember, Melanie Gibb and Melanie Pulowski and Lori Vallow were all very, very close. So if anyone knows that, I would guess Melanie Gibb does. And she's willing to say that in a court of law. So to me, that probably makes it true. Excuse me. TN says it was also in Ian's notes. Yes, it was. Ian wrote a long document of his notes while he was working with the FBI and detectives to surveil his wife. That had to be awkward. But yeah, he wrote about it in there. So there are several reports of Melanie Pulowski believing her own kids are zombies. So yeah, I don't think she has a lot of hope for her custody case. At least I hope she doesn't. Jessica Watson said she is willing now because she saw what happened to Lori's kids. Yep, definitely. We have another question about the charges. Yeah, the charges, Marilyn, the charges that were dropped were the charges of desertion of a minor. Those minors are deceased now, we know, so those charges no longer apply. The other charges, the conspiracy to destroy, conceal, or alter evidence, still stand and are strong charges. So don't worry. Don't worry. It's okay. She's not walking out of jail. Can you imagine hearing your best friend tell you the kids are zombies? LaDonna Louise, I can't imagine that. See, even if my friend did tell me that, I can't imagine just being like, oh, okay, and letting it go. I would be jumping up and down like, hey, no, this is a problem. We got to fix this right now. So, yeah. Hot Scopy Rouge says, in my opinion, Melanie Gibb had a thing for Chad and is quite happy getting out of trouble and getting back at Lori for getting Chad. That's quite possible. She called Lori her adversary in the interview. Yep. That makes a lot of sense. Alistair, how are you doing tonight? It's good to see you. Lori most likely narking their relationship. 5 husbands, love bombing, discard, divorce. Yep. Yes, exactly. You nailed it, Alistair. As you know, when you're dealing with a narcissist and their prey, all right, Chad was Lori's prey. The prey person will do and say things that they would never normally do because they fall under the spell of the narcissist, and it makes you act out in really bad ways. Now, that does not absolve them of any guilt. Chad is not a victim per se of Lori. He was a willing accomplice and even the instigator in some parts of it, but Lori awakened that in him. They fed on each other, and it's one of those cases of the sum is greater than its parts. You put the two of those together, those two psychological types, and you're going to have a monster of a storm, which we see the results of. So, let's see. Deborah says, I can never imagine thinking my kids are zombies, even on their worst day. Me either. Susan asks, does anyone think Jason Mao had something to do with all this? Yes. That's all I'm saying. That's as far as I'm going with that. Awen, do you think Chad was somewhat married to Melanie P? I think Chad led them to believe that. I think Chad says, oh, we were married in a past life. Oh, you know how he loved that. That was his pickup line. Yeah, I think he probably told them that. Is it me or is it frozen? I'm watching my YouTube and I don't see it frozen, so it could just be you. Try refreshing, Rhonda. Let's see. Dee Dee says, "Hi, Eamon. We spoke last night for the first time on Paul's channel. I had to come watch to say hi." Well, hi. I'm glad you're here, especially from the UK where it's very late there. You should be sleeping. So I'm very glad you're here. Chad's a psychopath, in my non-clinical opinion. Anyone who could deal with the deaths of 5 or 6 people and not, and go to Hawaii and get married and have a luau, yeah, that kind of makes him a psychopath in my book too. I'll agree with that. Are there a bunch more Chad followers out there who think their kids or other people are zombies? Lynn Fox, that's a good question, and that's something that I've wondered. How many people subscribe to that theory? How many people are going around labeling their friends and families light and dark spirits and pinpointing people they say are zombies so they can get rid of them? Is this the last we're going to hear of that or not? That's a concern, I think Lori gave Chad an ultimatum about Tammy. Manuela, absolutely. Now, see, all right. Here's hold on, I have to cough. Okay, here's my story that I'm working on in my head about Chad and Lori and how the zombie thing came out. All right, and remember, this is speculation night. Okay, nothing I'm saying here is fact. Nothing is proven. I'm not saying it's true. I'm saying, come on a story with me. Let's look at this. All right, so Chad and Lori meet, and they fall madly head over heels in love. Now, if you've ever fallen in love with a narcissist, you know what a heady experience that can be, where all of a sudden your world goes from black and white to technicolor, and it's a phenomenal love story. It really is. Unfortunately, it's not true at all, but you don't know that at the time. So Chad and Lori fall into this sort of infatuated state, and they want to be together more than anything. All right. But Chad seems to believe that divorce is bad. He was told from beyond the veil that they weren't allowed to get divorced, right? So what are they going to do? They're going to turn off their cell phone so the noises stop interrupting their live stream. That's what they're going to do. So, so Chad wants to make Lori happy, right? So what does Chad do? Chad's an author. He's into fantasy, right? He likes to live action role play or something, maybe. So Chad comes up with this story. I had a vision. I had a dream. Charles is going to die in an accident. Don't worry, honey. It's okay. He'll be gone and we'll be able to be together, right? Now, Lori even tells her friend Melanie Gibb she was disappointed when Charles didn't die in an accident. Yeah, that's crazy. So Lori was hoping for this. And when it didn't happen, Lori gets very sad and disappointed and probably very angry because Lori has an anger streak probably about a mile wide. So what does Chad do then? I need a solution. I know, zombies. So Chad calls Lori and says, guess what? Charles is a zombie. He's been possessed by an evil spirit named Ned Schneider. All right. And the only way to take care of Charles, the only way to save Charles is for his body to die so his spirit can be released from limbo. The only thing we can do to save him is make sure he dies. And Lori said, And she even tells Melanie Gibb, or Melanie Gibb says, that Lori wasn't sure about this. I don't know about that. But she went with it and said, you know what? If I don't believe it, it's still a really good rationalization for why we got to get rid of Charles, isn't it? All right, so she gets with Alex. Now, some people say that Summer called Alex and told Alex to go to the house that day. So what's Summer's involvement? You got to think about that too. But through whatever method, Alex ends up there at the house and they shoot Charles and he's dead. And suddenly Lori's free. Yay, she thinks, right? She even has a pool party that afternoon. That's how upset she was, okay? But now there's still Chad's wife, because if Tammy's still there, so they can't be married, but they get sealed, sort of, in the temple by Jason Mao, maybe, allegedly, possibly. But that's against the church. I mean, that's blasphemous for them to have a sealing in a temple that is not sanctioned by the church. They shouldn't have been in the temple to begin with. I don't know how they had temple recommends at that point or how they even got in. But somehow they say, or Chad says, somebody says, that they had a sealing ceremony inside the temple. But that's not good enough for Lori, because that's not an actual marriage, is it? Not a legal marriage anyway. So you can see where it's snowballs now at this point. We know that Lori, through Charles's documentation, the divorce papers, the calls to police, the text messages to Charles's friends, he says that Lori did not want JJ anymore. She was done. She didn't want to take care of him. She wanted him out of the way. We know that she was feeling that about JJ. Okay, and that's horrible. Why wouldn't she just give him to Kay? That's a whole other thing. We also know that Lori was very money hungry. All right, so just divorcing Charles wouldn't have gotten her anything. Charles dying, using this whole zombie crazy fantasy thing, gave her everything she wanted in that moment, didn't it? So Lori has the instinct to be the serial killer, and Chad gives her the justification for doing so with his creative writing and storytelling, and you can see how that leads to 6 deaths, 5 possibly. Although I at this point in time, I doubt very, very much that Joseph Ryan died of natural causes. I don't think that happened at all. So we'll see. But you can see how Chad, wanting to make Lori happy and wanting to win Lori, that was his prize, could come up with these crazy beliefs that would fit into Lori's desires, and they'd feed on each other to the point where people died. And not just random people, family members, children, spouses. All because Lori wanted to get her way. Now, does that absolve Chad of responsibility? Of course not. Of course not. And he should be in jail the rest of his life. Death penalty on the table. I'm good with that. But you can start to see how it all happened. And to me, that's the part that I want to understand, how it all came to be. So she wouldn't get JJ's Social Security if she gave him to Kate. Exactly. I think all of the actual decisions when it came down to it were primarily about money. Lori got a lot of money from all of these deaths, and payments for the children for their father's deaths, and oh, goodness gracious. I think she didn't give JJ to Kay and Larry because she was pissed about Charles changing the beneficiary. Yes. Did it out of pure spite. Yeah, remember, she lost out on $1 million. Charles changed the beneficiary of his life insurance from Lori to Kay because Charles was suspicious. He knew this was coming. He wasn't surprised. He may have been surprised on that morning when he walked in and got shot, but he knew Lori wanted him dead. So he changed that beneficiary so that Kay could take care of JJ. But unfortunately, Lori stopped that from happening. But at least she didn't get the money, Oh, man. Even though they claim and said Alex was natural causes, I don't believe it. Anthony, I don't believe it either. I absolutely do not believe that Joseph or Alex or Tammy died of natural causes. Not for a second. Dodie Williams says, Nate Eaton said she got about $6,000 a month. Yeah, that's a lot of money. And I don't understand that math. $6,000 a month is a lot of money that she was receiving for the 2 kids. That's a lot of money. I wouldn't say no to $6,000 a month, but certainly her motivation was money. Natural causes, my Portuguese foot, says Manuela. I agree. I wonder what the purpose of Alex's marriage was. I am Tammy Sue. That's a good question. That's something that I'm still kind of trying to pin down. We have Alex and Zulema, and we have Melanie and Ian. They got married, within a day of each other or something like that? That's not normal, and it's not a coincidence, and there's a reason for this. It could be money. All right. There are probate filings for Zulema going to probate court after Alex's death. What was she trying to get? What assets did he have? Was it a life insurance policy? Something like that. Is that why? Zulema was Lori's friend. I think that's going to come out in the wash one of these days, and I'd like to know. The Ian and Melanie thing is confusing. I don't see an obvious strategy for that, but I think Ian was involved with Chad and or some family members before he allegedly met Melanie on the dating app. So I think we're going to find out why these marriages took place. And I don't think it was because they fell in love. I really don't. Let's see. Just watched a lawyer talk about the drop charges. He said they could have kept them on the docket and they had more prison time. Yeah, I know which lawyer you're talking about, and don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Sure, they could have kept him on the docket, but they're pointless charges at this point. And don't think that just because there's only conspiracy charges that they're just going to get 5 years and they're going to get to walk. That is not going to happen. Remember, in many states, I'm assuming Idaho as well, a conspiracy conviction can have the same penalty as the original charge, like first-degree murder. If they can prove that Lori and Chad acted in furtherance of the conspiracy, which they have already proven in the affidavits, we got nothing to worry about. Okay? So don't dive into the whole clickbaity defense lawyer dude. That's all I'm going to say about him. Y'all know who I'm talking about. It would have been pointless to keep the charges valid, much less absolutely, Rhonda. There's no point to those charges, so they were never relevant. Yep, exactly. That is a great charge because they talked about it to anyone there. All could do exactly, Linda. You got it. And even in the affidavits that we saw, the probable cause affidavits, we read them all. I read them on air to you. They lay out all of the actions that Chad and Lori took in furtherance of the conspiracy. That's it. They've already hit the bar to prove the conspiracy. Anything else is gravy. All right. So Rob Wood is a smart prosecutor. He knows exactly what he's doing. And he's building his case brick by brick. And it's going to stick. They are in deep. Yep, Linda, you are absolutely right. I love that I do know what you're talking about, an avid watcher. I am, Tammy Sue. Good, I'm glad. Chad doesn't believe in divorce or in or out of jail, I imagine. Well, see, that's one thing that made me curious, the divorce thing. Because Melanie Gibbs said, well, they don't believe in divorce. And I'm like, Lori's been divorced how many times? She clearly believes in divorce, so that's not a problem for Lori. Maybe it was a problem for Chad, right? And Lori was so upset that Chad said they couldn't divorce their spouses that Chad creates this story about, well, they must be zombies then. They'll just have to die, to appease Lori. So, yeah, that's... I heard Colby is not supporting his mom. Go watch Colby's own videos on his YouTube channel, CJ's Place. Colby's not supporting his mother. I don't know who said that during the hearing, but that is not true. He was there representing the victim's family, not Lori. So there you go. Sorry about the chair squeaks. My husband's chair is very squeaky. He needs a new one. If the children were killed on Chad's property, he will have 2 murders. Basically, Anthony, wherever the children were killed and whoever killed them, because of the conspiracy charge, he's guilty anyway. That's the magic of a conspiracy, accomplice, accessory sort of situation. So that's a really good charge. I know people are all up in arms. It's only a 5-year penalty. Not once they tie it to the main charge of murder of whoever killed the kids. So, yeah. It's a good charge. It'll be good. Hope all of you are doing great today. Hi, Christy Ballinger. I'm doing great. I hope everyone else is. I wish my screen wasn't blurry. I am going to call AT&T and see what I can do about that. One of the issues, though, is actually YouTube. If I was live on stream, if I was live on Twitch or something like that, it would be perfectly clear. So there's something about the way the live interface is for me with YouTube that doesn't work right. It could be StreamYard. Maybe I'll try a different platform for streaming. I'll try Zoom or something, and I bet then it would be really clear. So I'll try that next time. Remind me to look up Zoom and make a Zoom account and try that. StreamYard is great, Linda. Yeah, it is. But for me, it's very, very blurry. So I might try a different platform. Let's see. Hi, Mary Hartman. How are you doing? Hi, Robin Swan. YouTube has been crazy lately. Yeah, I have a lot of issues with uploading. Uploading still takes forever. What happened to female child killers in prisons? Same thing happens to most people in prison. They serve out their term. You know, people always say, "Oh, well, they don't like those people in prison. They'll get killed in prison." That really almost never happens. It happens once in a while, but it's very rare. So keep that in mind. Zoom is bomb diggity. All right, feeding it. You're gonna have to talk me through Zoom then, or Stormy. You use Zoom. Okay, great. The two of you are gonna give me a Zoom school for the next live stream. I'll try that. Let's see. I find it interesting that Chad doesn't believe in divorce, but does believe in murdering. Kathy, I said that this morning in a post that I made. I'm like, all right, so divorcing your spouse is really bad and goes against God, but murdering them is A-okay? What? All right. Rosie, thank you for the super chat. She says, thanks, Awen, for all your hard work. Appreciate it very much. You are welcome. Welcome. You're welcome. Welcome to my channel. You are very welcome, Rosie. And thank you for being here. We're becoming fast friends, and I'm so glad you're here. Not that I can speak tonight, clearly. When Julie Rowe told Chad, what Chad had to try to okay, I'm going to try reading. When Julie Rowe told what Chad had tried to pull off with her, then she broke into tears. Becky, Julie, let's talk about Julie Rowe. I am Tammy Sue. Thank you so much for the super chat. Oh, that looks like a big mug of beverage. I need some Diet Coke. Give me 1 second. Oh, so thirsty. Julie Rowe. Who wants to talk about Julie Rowe? I like talking about Julie Rowe. Julie Rowe's very upset. Julie Rowe has made 50 hours worth of interviews and content for media so they could talk about her. And they're not airing any of her stuff, and she can't imagine why. But she goes on TV and talks about invisible, energized poison spirit weapons. That's what Chad used to kill Tammy. She speaks the truth. Yeah. Julie Rowe is crazy. She's certifiably crazy. She wants very, very much to be part of this case. She wants to be a part of it so bad she can taste it, to the point where she is on TV spewing the most unbelievable crap I have ever heard somebody say in public. I cannot believe anybody would have this woman on TV. Now remember, right before she came out crying about how Chad had done these horrible things to her, it was just a few days before that she was saying the children were safe and Chad is wonderful and Chad is like the next Messiah and oh, Chad. Yeah, then they find the kids in his yard and all of a sudden he's a sexual predator. Come on, Julie Rowe, knock it off. So Julie Rowe's out there. We don't give any credence to anything that comes out of Julie Rowe's mouth. I don't anyway. If you do, that's certainly up to you. I don't. Becky Sue said, that's what I was picking up. Thank you for verifying. Yeah. Also, speaking of Julie Rowe, let's talk about Eric Smith. If you saw Eric Smith's interview on Court TV, he did an interview with Chanley Painter. Chanley Painter is phenomenal. I adore Chanley Painter. She's covering so many of the cases on Court TV. She's like on-the-ground reporter. And she did an interview with Eric Smith, who wanted to come on TV and tell his side of the story because he was Chad's good friend and he was deceived and it's so terrible. And, oh, if only we knew. For the love of God, people, really? Eric Smith, although he tried to portray a rather convincing, contrite, person who had just been hoodwinked by evil Chad, he's Julie Rowe's manager. All right, he's just as crazy as the rest of these wackadoodles. Saying that for Denise, who's right there, and she's smiling. She likes calling them wackadoodles. But yeah, Eric Smith is another one of them. So, I can't with these people. I cannot with these people. In the same document I was talking about, said that Lori thought that Tylee was a reincarnation. Yes, Robin Swan. Those documents, as soon as I verify or even get a hint that they're actually accurate, I will make a video about them because they're incredible. But they do allege that Lori believed that Tylee was the reincarnation of Lori's sister, Stacy. Now let's remember who Stacy is. Stacy was Lori's sister. She passed away in 1998. She was married to Steve Cope, and Stacy and Steve are Melanie Pulowski's parents. Okay. Tara H, thank you for the super chat. It says JR deletes all negative comments on it. Someone said that Julie Rowe actually deleted her Facebook. I haven't checked that yet, but you might want to check it and see. She's not get a lot of good comments. Yeah, but thank you for the super chat. So, yeah, Lori, Stacy Cope was married to Steve Cope, Melanie Pulowski's parents. And Stacy had a lot of problems, a lot of very big psychological and health problems. So there's that. Let's see. Does anyone know there's a Ned Schneider? All right, Carolyn, let's talk about Ned Schneider. Chad told Lori, now this is of course coming from Melanie Gibb. Chad told Lori that the spirit that had taken over Charles's body and possessed him was the spirit of Ned Schneider. Well, who's Ned Schneider, you may be asking? That's a really good question. The only possible answer that we have to that comes from Annie Cushing. Right? She did a deep dive into this name, and what she found was that there was a demonologist named Ned Schneider. Okay, also known as Goetic Ned or Goetic Nick or something like that. Now, on one hand, you might be saying, well, why would Chad and Lori, or Chad at least, know about a demonologist named Ned Schneider? Is he reading demonology books? Possibly. Now, don't go thinking that Ned Schneider is a demon worshiper. A demonologist is someone who studies that esoteric demonology side of Christianity. They're all named, he doesn't make it up. They just study that and get to understand what's happening. So, and a lot of priests can be demonologists, the ones that may practice exorcism, things like that. So let's not say that Ned Schneider's a bad guy. He studies demonology, and he wrote a book on it. And Annie Cushing found this book. Now, the interesting thing about this connection, where Ned could be connected to Chad, is Jason Mao. Again, Asen J. Ao May. His name keeps coming up. D. Oh, D gives me a super chat. Thank you, D. Says, must say goodnight. It's 1:44. Oh, I know it's very late over there, but thank you for staying up so late with me. I appreciate it. Take care, D, and I'll talk to you soon. Thank you for the super chat. So, Asen J. Ao May. Okay. Asen J. Ao May was in a movie about a demon with a particular name that I don't walk around saying demon names, so I'm not going to say it, and some zombie children. All right, Jason Mao. It's called Silent. What is the movie called? Anyone have it off the top of their head? Silent. I'm watching chat. The movie that Jason Mao was in. Silent something. Silence of something. I forget. It's in one of my other videos or something. I can't remember off the top of my head. So Jason Mao's in this movie about this demon and these zombie children and all of this stuff. Jason Mao and Chad are friends. So I believe Jason Mao was a producer or had a hand in the production of this movie as well. So maybe in their research for the movie, he came across this book by Ned Schneider, told Chad about it. Chad now knows about Ned Schneider. Next thing you know, that's the name of the spirit that has taken over Charles's body. Voila. Annie Cushing has solved that one. So, Brooks channel. Oh, you joined Patreon. Thank you so much. All right, Brooks. Brooke, we still got to sit down and have a long talk. I know that you have been so invested in this case because you and I used to talk over on Denise's channel. So we got to do that. We got to talk one of these days. Silent Notes. Ginger, you probably got it. Yeah, I'll get the name of the movie and give it to you if you want to go see it. I don't know why you'd want to, but yeah. So that's where we get some possible explanation for Ned Schneider. Is that exactly who they were talking about? No, we don't know that for sure. They could have just made a name up out of the blue, and that's the only Ned Schneider that was found. Or that could be the connection between Chad, Jason Mao, this crazy movie, and Ned Schneider. Speak no evil. There you go. Thank you, Rhonda. I thought it was silent, but silent and speak no evil kind of has it. I can see where I got that from. Speak no evil. That is the name of the movie. Thank you very much. All right, Brooke, you're always okay. We're gonna catch up. So I want to pick your brain a bit. So yeah, if you want to watch Jason Mao in a zombie children demon movie, knock your socks off. I don't want to see it. Someone in the True Crime Underground Facebook group did watch it because Annie Cushing wanted to know about the movie, but she honestly, you can understand why she wouldn't want to sit through that kind of movie. But they watched it and gave a pretty detailed explanation of what happened in the movie, and I'm not watching it either. Let's see. We don't know what happened with the custody case. Jess, we do not. Although, all right. Again, it's speculation and rumor night, so we can talk about this. There's nothing officially reported about the custody hearing that took place on July 1st between Melanie Pulowski and Brandon Boudreaux. What I have heard, though, and I cannot verify, is that this was more of an evidentiary hearing. Right? This wasn't the custody trial, so to speak. Excuse me. Kathy, Kathy, thank you for the super chat. Says, quit saying JM's name. Yeah, let's say we'll give him a new name. So somebody think of a new name for, Payson Cow, something like that. So the custody hearing. All I've heard about the custody hearing on the first was that it was an evidentiary hearing. They were presenting evidence, and nobody was called to testify. So Melanie Gibb did not testify on the first, but that doesn't mean she won't eventually. But she didn't at that day. So, and the judge made no rulings. So it sounds like it was more of a procedural hearing. No evidence or no testimony was given. No ruling was handed down. So who knows? We're just gonna have to wait and see what happens with that. JM is the new Macbeth. There you go. The Captain M word. I'm not going to use that because we have to be respectful of the Mormon faith. Moroni is a very important aspect of Mormon doctrine, and I don't want to twist that around to mean something. No, that you get where I'm going. So no, that's not a good name. Isn't Payson Cow a former cop? Yes, he is. Payson Cow, it was a police officer. He got fired for kind of being lazy and not doing his job. What? Well, come say hello if you're going to say goodbye first. the husband. Say hi,
hello.
Husband.
Just go. Where the heck is it?
Stick your face in. Say hi.
Hello. I can't see my face. My face is not showing.
Oh, wait, there's a delay.
Oh, there's a delay, isn't there?
Yeah, there's...
Okay, hello. Just going up for supplies. See you in a few minutes.
That's my husband. Bye, have fun. Yeah, he's more than an arm. Paul's significant other is just an arm. Mine actually has a head, so I'm winning. Oh, goodness.
Got feet as well.
Get out of here. All right, so he messed up the colors of my camera. I'm all pink now. All right, so what was I talking about? Husbands, they mess everything up. I don't remember. Somebody remind me in chat what we were talking about before he interrupted. I love him to pieces, by the way. He is my hero. One day, good husband. LDS cult. Did Lori know Chad when Joseph Ryan died? Sue, whether she had physically met Chad or not when Joseph died, she at least knew of Chad. Remember, Joseph died in 2018. So either she had just met Chad, was about to meet Chad, but she was aware of Chad, at least through his books at that time. So there you go. How is Jason involved in all of this? I don't know much about him. All right. Let's talk about Payson Cow. He's an ex-cop, ex-military. He was, I think he considers himself LDS, devout LDS. I don't think LDS Church would consider him LDS. They would consider him some sort of extremist offshoot guy, although I believe at one point he did have a temple recommend and may have been in the hierarchy of the priesthood or something like that. I don't know all of his history with the church. I haven't dug into him that much yet. But he is involved, as far as we know, the public things that we know, is that he and Chad were friends. He and Melanie Gibb were friends. They all did these Preparing a People podcast and book tours and talks and conferences and things like that. Jason Mao was very involved in that. If you go to Denise's channel, I'm sure one of the mods will drop a link. She has one of his podcasts uploaded called Time to Warrior Up. Right? He's all about a militant preparedness for the end of the world. He was a very big contributor to the Avow forums, which is another voice of warning, which is, see, they consider themselves perfectly good Mormon people, but the Mormon Church considers most members of Avow extremists. They're end of times preppers, rather militant, rather misguided, and Jason Mao is a big part of that, along with Chad and Hector Sosa and Julie Rowe and Melanie Gibb and all of them. They're all connected like that. All right, so Jason Mao is just another one. No, they're not the Boogaloo Boys. That's a whole different realm of crazy. These are more devout religious preppers who don't realize that what they're doing is very far removed from church doctrine, or refuse to accept that anyway, something like that. Tammy Sue has to go. I'm sorry you have to go, but thank you for being here, Tammy Sue. I really appreciate it, and I hope you have a good night, and we'll talk to you soon. Is Colby or Annie? Colby will be receiving the remains of the children, as far as the affidavits state. Yeah, as well as we know, is that Colby will be the one to receive Tylee and JJ's remains. Oh, I'm so thirsty. It's really dry in here. Sorry about that. Bipolar Princess just linked Annie Cushing's dashboard. That's a site. If you're researching this case, you want to have that site bookmarked. So save that link and make sure you get a bookmark on it. Annie Cushing, just to be transparent, I adore Annie Cushing to pieces, and I hang on every word she says. So, take that for what you want. So please follow all her stuff. Follow her on Twitter. Join the Facebook group if you want. Just please be respectful if you do. And follow her dashboard. She's got some great stuff. She also has an amazing timeline. So, yeah. Catnet just linked to Colby's YouTube channel. Thank you, Catnet. Colby has a lot of videos up where one of them, he's actually appealing to Lori to work with authorities and to help them find the kids and tell them where they are. So, yeah. Joseph's death and Charles' death about a year apart. Lori received insurance payouts for Joseph's death. Yep. Why so many LDS members or ex-members getting involved in these fringe groups? Liz? I have some theories on that. But that's not something I talk about here on the channel, because as you can imagine, that ruffles a few feathers. Yeah, people get upset about that, so we don't talk about that. Annie Cushing sounds like wonderful. She does sound like a wonderful person. I would like to talk to her someday. Maybe someday I could sit down and just have a phone call with her, and because I'm even if it wasn't for the case and I knew of Annie Cushing, I would still think she was the bomb. So, yeah. Let's see. Theory. Since Lori can't communicate directly with Chad, maybe her call me Mrs. Daybell. Tara, that's what I thought too. I thought the exact same thing, that when she said that in court, she wanted to be referred to as Mrs. Daybell. That was her way of sending a message to Chad. I agree with you 150%. Absolutely. Robin Swan says, I'm Mormon and I don't care, but I'm really open-minded. Okay. A lot of Mormons aren't all that open-minded, So I get a lot of flack when I talk about the Mormon connection with Chad and Lori and their LDS roots. I am the first one to say that what Chad and Lori were talking about at the end is not Mormon doctrine. It was not LDS teachings. They went crazy. They went to crazy town. But people don't always hear me say that, so I try to avoid that topic, at least in public. But speaking of, if you could allow me the transgression of plugging my Patreon page, okay? When I talk about Mormonism, the history of Mormonism, end time cults, some of the reasons I see the LDS Church spawning a lot of people like Chad and Lori, I get into all of that on my Patreon channel, but I keep it there because I don't want to offend 16 million people around the world that are practicing Mormons. I don't need that kind of flack. But I also do not think your average Mormon person is crazy like Chad and Lori. I don't believe that for a second. Okay. So I just want to make that super clear. But it is something to look at. It's something to definitely take into consideration. What is it about the teachings of the Mormon faith that can let someone like Chad twist the beliefs into what he did? So it's a conversation. Excuse me, what else? Let's make this clear. There are real Mormons, LDS members, and there are neither. Mrs. and Mr. Dumbbell are their own type of special religion that did not exist. Well said, Brooke. Agreed. Wait, Penny Sue is here. Hi, Penny Sue. I didn't see you come in. Oh, there's a troll. Okay, the mods will get him. This is a spin-off group. Yep. Yeah, and there are very many. Remember, Mormonism, when you look at its origins, it spawned, throughout history in the United States, Mormonism has spawned many offshoot groups. We have FDLS, you have crazy people like Chad and Lori, you have the prepper group like a Vow. This has always happened, and it always will. I hope that they can be caught or stopped or helped before they get to the point where Chad and Lori are killing like 6 people. But man, it does happen. I can't get on Patreon pages if the account is set to be over 18. Why? I don't know. Well, are you over 18? I don't know. If my Patreon is set to over 18, then it should probably stay that way. Not that I do anything bad there, but anyway. Warren Jeffs, yep, that's the FDLS people. It's apparently at a camp with Chad in 2018. Oh, I missed that conversation. I'm sure what's going on. I'm a little confused here. The charges of not complying with a court order still stand, and why abandon, not apply when they took off to Hawaii. I think, if I read it correctly, that only the desertion charges were dropped, and the contempt of court might still stand. I'm not sure. Either way, it probably isn't going to matter if those charges are there or not. The investigation is shifting now towards murder of the children and not just, they're missing. So if that whole group of charges was dropped, it's really irrelevant to what's going to happen now, and it's going to be fine. She's not going to get out of jail. So April Little says, I'm Mormon, and I'm going to be completely honest. I have no idea how anyone could believe this nonsense. It's beyond nuts. I've genuinely never heard of any of this strange stuff. I live in Texas. Well, April, I live in Texas too. Hi, neighbor. And I agree with you. Mormons do not believe in portals and teleportation and zombies, and none of that is from Mormon doctrine. Where did Chad get it from? And this may sound crazy. Why not? If Julie Rowe can do it, so can I. But when I was listening and reading the documents, especially from Ian, Natalie, and Brandon, about what Chad's beliefs actually were, you know what it sounds like to me? I know this sounds crazy, but it honestly sounds like he watches the TV show Supernatural and stole half their scripts. The zombie thing, that's in there. Cain walking the earth, that's in Supernatural. The pendulums, I mean, of course, the pendulums are from all sorts of things, but it's like everything Chad talks about that's Crazy Town is in that TV show somewhere. Did he just watch the TV show and think, that's cool? I want to be a zombie hunter. Yeah. I would not have been surprised if Chad went out and bought a car like that, like Dean's car, because he probably thought that was really cool. So Chad is that kind of guy to me, where he sees something he thinks is cool and wants to emulate it however he can. Like when he used to hang out with the jocks in high school. They're cool. I'm going to hang out with them. I'm not going to become a jock because that's too much work, but I'm going to hang out with them and try to be like them. Yes, Mira, that is a very cool car. But I think if Chad had bought a car like this, that's what we'd be talking about right now. A supernatural spawn serial killer duo. You know what I mean? It's crazy. But I would say Supernatural, the TV show, would be more responsible for what Chad and Lori did than the Mormon religion. Because the stuff they talked about is closer to that than it is to Mormonism. So there's that, Oh, goodness. There are so many reasons that we can discuss as Mormons to show Chad and his followers have created their own religion. Yep. Absolutely. It's a supernatural copycat murder. There you go, Brooke. We solved it. We solved it. Oh, goodness. Call Dean and Sam. April Little, Supernatural is one of my favorite shows. I love that show. There are some really beautiful men in that show. But it's a fun story, too. I really like Supernatural. It's great. Let's not blame a TV series for what these nutcases do. No, Manuela, I'm not blaming the TV series as such, but you can see where people saying, oh, well, they got their crazy ideas from Mormonism. No, they did not. None of these crazy ideas are in Mormonism, but they are in that TV show. It's an analogy to show where some of the crazy stuff Chad and Lori could come from. And beautiful Chad is not. No, he is not. He is not beautiful. I hope Larry and Kay and Annie are there for him. Are there for who? Colby? I'm sure they will be. Rhonda says, I'm not an active member at the moment, but I know the religion. I raised my children in the religion. I was married to my first husband in the temple, so I know. Good to know. So, Robin, if I have questions, I know where to go to. Anything or anyone inconvenient to Mr. Daybell becomes a zombie. Absolutely. In the latest video that I put on Patreon, I'm talking about end time cults. And I look at Chad and Lori's behavior and mark that against the hallmarks of what is considered psychologically and in criminal situations, what defines a cult. And we line up 8 of the top hallmarks of cults and narcissistic cult leaders, and Chad fits them all. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure that is definitely a cult. One of the things that I talk about in there extensively is his use of light and dark spirits and zombies. That is probably one of the more ingenious things that I've seen a cult leader use to exert coercive control over the group. If you ask too many questions, if you put a toe out of line, if you threaten to leave, all of a sudden you're going to get labeled as a dark spirit. And you know what that means? That means you're a zombie and you have to die. Talk about a threat, And so then you look at that energy and you start thinking about Melanie Gibb a little bit more and say, oh, I understand Melanie Gibb a little bit better, through that lens. So, yeah, the light and dark spirit zombie thing was definitely useful. It was a tool. It was easy, and it gave everyone a justification and a rationalization to do some horrible things. Let's see. Larry K. Colby, Annie on your show. Nope, Marie, I will not have family members on my YouTube channel. I don't think that's right. I don't think YouTube true crime channels are, what's the word I want? Are like news channels. We're not reporters. I think it's salacious to have family members involved in a case on a YouTube channel, and I won't do it. If they asked me, like suppose I actually get to talk to Annie Cushing and we become friends of sorts, and she says, hey, I'll come on your YouTube channel and talk about it. I would be hard pressed to say no, but if she asks me, that would be very different. I'm certainly not going to seek family members out and ask them. I think that's just wrong. I would never do that. But so that's how that goes. If they came to me and wanted to come and make a statement, I don't think I would say no. Not for views or points or anything like that, but if Annie Cushing wants a platform, I'll give her anything she wants, So that's just that. But let's see. Gary Gagnon says, what surprises me is Lori kids are dead, however, Chad's kids are alive. Yeah. The reason that I think that, Gary, is because I don't think Chad at first thought this was going to turn into a murder spree. I think when Lori expressed her displeasure that all of these people were in the way of the things she wanted, her mission, her life with Chad, money, Chad just gave her the narrative. He wrote her a story that she could use to justify removing all of these obstacles. JJ, Tylee, Charles, Alex, and she probably made him get rid of his obstacle, Tammy. But I think that's why Chad's kids are fine, because he was not about to do that to his own children. Did he have some scruples and draw a line? It's hard to say that, but that's why I think Chad's kids are fine and Lori's are not. Let's see. Follow Annie Cushing on Twitter. Yep, please follow Annie Cushing. She's great. Chad's kids are also adults. Yes, they are. Chad's kids are alive because they're all adults. Yep, that is true. But then again, so was Charles, Tammy, and Alex, and they're not alive. But I think Chad just was not about to label his own kids as zombie. He didn't care if Lori did that to her kids because he didn't care, Marie says, Awen, who's going to take over Lori and Chad's place now, I guess? If anybody does take over for Lori and Chad, I think Melanie Gibb is vying for that position. I think Julie Rowe wants to at least absorb Chad's crazy followers and get the fame for it. Jason Mao, possibly, Hector Sosa, Christopher Parrott. There's a list. There's a list of people where anyone who followed Chad and Lori to that degree could go just pick one of these other people and follow them instead. So, what about Melanie Pulowski hearing? Sherry, we don't know anything verifiable from the hearing because nothing has been released publicly yet. However, what I've heard is that it was just an evidentiary hearing. Nobody was called to testify. Melanie Gibb did not take the stand, and the judge did not order a ruling. So I assume that is going to be ongoing. So as soon as I hear anything actual and factual, I'll let you know. Hi, Grace Naomi. How are you doing tonight? Grace says, I also think that Chad's children know a lot more about their father having visions and probably believed he was special. Grace, I bet at least Emma did. I don't know about the rest of Chad's kids, but Emma's a problem. Sharon Hoffman asks, what about Melanie and her new baby? Is Melanie going to think that it's ever a zombie? I don't know how they're going to deal with that. I don't. Because if she thinks two of her other kids are zombie, what's to stop her from thinking the new baby won't be a zombie? What is Ian going to do? Is Ian going to take the baby and leave her and divorce her? Or is he going to stay with her and try and protect? I mean, I can't imagine where that mess is going to lead. But that is a mess. I tell you what. I hope they might, Sarah, they might. Julie wasn't part of the cult. She can't get in no matter how hard she tries. She wasn't. Julie was friends with Chad. I think Julie chased Chad around, even though she'll say the opposite. But she wanted to ride on Chad's coattails a little bit, I think. She also is friends with Jason Mao, maybe separate from Chad. So she's involved in that big group. But I think Chad and especially Lori probably kept her at arm's length because I think she wanted Chad. She seems to act like it. But, she just wants to get into that cult so darn bad and they just won't let her, She's trying so hard. 50 hours of interviews she's recorded and they've only aired 10 minutes. Can you imagine how mean the media is being to Julie Rowe? She just wants to tell them about the invisible energized spirit weapons. Yeah, she cray. Chad reminds me of Peter Griffin on American Dad. Yep. Chad's kids are out of the house, as is Colby Ryan, who's still alive. That's Carolyn. That's a really good point. Some of Chad's kids lived with him recently. I've heard that Seth and Garth maybe lived with her, but they have moved out. Emma and her husband Joseph now live in Chad's house. For how long? Who knows? How could anyone want that potato? I like potatoes, just not that potato. But I don't eat them because carbs are bad. Mira asks, oh, is that like the invisible flying biting snowman, Eamon? Mira, isn't it your bedtime? Go to bed. Aren't the 144,000 supposed to be married couples and childless? The 144,000, the criteria laid out for that group of people in the Bible clearly is not Chad and Lori. So why they think that, they're nuts. Let's see. What about Tammy? I'm not sure what the question is about her death or about what she believed. I don't know. Potatoes provide nutrition on a regular basis to at least 1 billion people. Comparing them to Chad is unfair to the potatoes. Yes, especially to the Irish lady that we have here in our chat tonight. Sorry, I know spuds are a big deal. And Cole, I see people. Marie Smith says Colby. I'm not sure what I miss. I don't see the whole conversation because it's hard to watch chat real closely when I'm talking. But I'm sorry, I'm reading chat. I don't mean to be quiet. It still surprises me that the authorities released Chad's house so quickly. Yeah, Manuela, that really surprised me too. Immediately they were done. Was the very next day that they released the home back to the family? It's like, you just found 2 sets of remains in the yard. Don't you think you might want to go over things a little closer? But maybe they didn't have need to go over anything. Although they did go back for another search just this week. Just this week. My tongue is not working. You know what? I need more Diet Coke. That's why my tongue isn't working. April Little says, did someone ask about dropping some of Lori's charges? A lot of people have asked that. Unfortunately, there are certain people out in the greater social media world who are sort of clickbaiting that. All right, they're stirring up some trouble. The charges against Lori before the conspiracy charges were about deserting and abandoning the children and being in contempt of court for not showing up for the hearing that was scheduled earlier this year, where she was supposed to produce the children, but she didn't show up. Now that we know that the children are deceased and were found in Chad's yard, those charges are not relevant anymore. So they were dropped. That doesn't mean anything. All right? They took those off the table because that's not the case. She didn't desert the children. The children were murdered. So of course those charges are irrelevant. It doesn't mean she's getting out of jail. It doesn't mean she's going to get less time. It doesn't mean anything like that. It means the charges have to change now because desertion was obviously not what happened. Okay? That's all it means. So don't let anyone try to get you all worked up telling you, but she's got less time, blah, blah. No, if someone tells you that, you send them to me. I'll fix them. I don't like clickbaiting. That makes me very angry. So whoever's doing that, if you're watching this, cut it out. Sheesh. Yeah, David, I'm not talking about that guy. That guy irritates me. Aaron Gemini, hi, welcome to the chat. Several weeks before bodies were found, Idaho police asked YouTuber Reverend... Oh, nope. We are not going there. Sorry. No, I don't do the psychic thing either. No. Because they have to keep her in jail so they can work on murder. Exactly, Christy. Exactly. And plus, let's not forget that the conspiracy charges are actually a lot bigger than they look. All right? When you're talking about a conspiracy, the first thing that law enforcement has to do is prove that whoever they're naming as a conspirator acted in furtherance of the conspiracy. And we can see that in both of the amended probable cause affidavits for Chad and Lori, that law enforcement has done that. All right, they've done that. They've proven that Chad and Lori both took actions in furtherance of the conspiracy by lying to Melanie Gibb and asking her to lie, and telling, when Chad told the police he didn't know Lori's phone number and he didn't know her that well, even though they were married at the time. All those things that they listed in the affidavits prove that Lori and Chad acted in furtherance of the conspiracy. Now, what that means, right, is Alex is one of the co-conspirators, even though he's dead. So everyone's saying they're going to pin the murders on Alex and they're going to get away with it. Oh, no. That's what these conspiracy charges are about. All right? That's why they're a big deal. If Alex and Lori and Chad were all co-conspirators in the death of JJ and Tylee, it doesn't matter which one of them killed JJ and Tylee. They're all going down for it. Okay? That's what that means. It's a really big deal. You don't see that reflected in the charges yet, because the investigation into who killed JJ and Tylee and how and all of that's still being done. They're still investigating that, right? We're waiting on forensics. They're probably doing all kinds of electronic data collection. And once they get all of that sorted out, you will see the charges that you're looking for. All right. But understand what the conspiracy charge means. All right. It's not a lightweight charge. On its own, it is. But as soon as they prove that Alex, Lori, and Chad conspired to kill the children and hide their remains, they're done. They're absolutely done. Okay, whether Alex is alive or dead, whether Alex was the only one who put his hands on the kids or not, they're all done. So there you go. It's good news. It's good news. Something to be positive about. Jess is doing stuff. Good going, Jess. I really hope the burner phones are found and used. I would think that they found some. Now, the thing about the 60 burner phones, I believe that it only comes from the Dateline producer in a tweet. I didn't see that in the affidavits. I don't think I did. I'll go back and check. I don't believe either of the affidavits talks about the 60 burner phones. So if that was just the Dateline producer, then that's hearsay, whatever. If they find 60, then we'll know. But I'm pretty sure. You see, nowadays, burner phone, I think people get the wrong idea. Like my phone, this is a burner phone, technically. I have a SIM card, a prepaid cellular service, because I don't want one of those 10-year contract-y things. It's technically a burner phone. I use the same phone I have for 2 years, but it's still a burner phone. So if Lori's got 5, 6 of those, they can still be traced. So I think they're getting all that information. And boy, that's going to be good stuff. We're going to know exactly what happened. Hi, Lauren Reed. How are you doing? She says, hi, Ewan. It's great to see you. Lovely to see Denise. Oh, yeah. Lauren also knows Denise. Denise, just to recap for anyone new here who's wondering who that beautiful woman is on my screen, that is Denise Rainey. Mods can link to her YouTube channel. She began covering this case months ago, and she was doing some amazing research and deep dives into this entire case. She has a whole playlist on her YouTube channel that you really should watch if you want to know a lot of the background stuff. And she passed away a month ago today. Today is our 1-month anniversary, and I just wanted her here with me because I miss her very much. And the reason I'm doing this and doing this case is because of her. And I needed her today. So that's why she's on the screen with me. Because sometimes you just need her, you know? I said I was not going to do this. Anyway, that's Denise. So, yeah. I want to cover this case in a way that Denise would be proud of, because she left no stone unturned. She was not afraid to look at Ace and Jay Almay, and if she wasn't, then I shouldn't be either, you know. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to do this for Denise and do it just as good as she would, or at least try to, you know. And there you go. So that's why she's on here. And I think I like to believe, as much as it's magical thinking and it's a little crazy, that the reason this case broke and the children were found, because that happened very shortly after Denise passed away. And she got up there and said, JJ, Tylee, oh my goodness, and gave them a big hug and said, let's get your case finished. That's what I like to think. It makes my heart feel very happy to believe that Denise had a hand in that, from, as Chad would say, beyond the veil. But if anyone would get up there and fix this, it would be Denise. So, yeah. Oh, sorry, I gotta stretch a little bit. Linda says she would be proud, and yes, she did break the case. See, Linda agrees with me. Denise went up there and she broke this case. So, there you go. Anyway, Stormy, one of the mods in the channel, she cautioned me that there's no such thing as waterproof mascara. Let's not prove her correct. Okay. Oh, man. April Little says, about the phones, any phone can be found or traced. There's a newish way law enforcement can block out areas of a map and get every call or text, even just move that phone. That's really cool. That's good to know. How on earth would anybody be? Oh, I don't know what the question was. Alistair says, when did the FBI come in possession of Tammy's cell phone? I don't know. I don't know if they did come in possession of Tammy's cell phone. I would hope they did. Oh, but yeah, they found the text, didn't they? The text from Chad. Did they find that from Tammy's phone or from Chad? I would think they found it from Tammy's phone. That would make sense. So, yeah. I love you too, Linda. Thank you. Denise's last name is Rainey. Her channel is Denise Rainey. You can look it up on YouTube. And she's got some great videos. She was also in the process. Now, see, when this case had first broke, and she discovered this preparing a people deal, and she looked up Chad Daybell and all the podcasts, she had the foresight to say, you know what? These podcasts are not going to be here for long. And she downloaded every single one of them. And she has them all on her computer. She was in the process of uploading them to her YouTube page. And I think she's got 4, 5, or 6 of them already uploaded. So they are there. You can go listen to them. One of them is even Jason Mao with Melanie and Lori or somebody else. So you can go listen to all those on her channel. There will come a time when I will be able to finish that process for her. It's just not the time yet. Okay, because I'll have to work with her husband to get the files and get them all uploaded. Also, just for those of you who know Wayne, I did speak with Wayne today. He's doing all right. Okay, it's not pleasant by any means, but he's okay, and the kids are okay. So, anyone that was concerned about them, please keep sending them your prayers and your thoughts and your love. But they're all right. They're gonna be okay. They're not gonna be just fine, but anyway. Let's see. Sorry to press the send arrow. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see that. Just because JJ had special needs, why didn't Lori give him to Kay? Now, Sharon, there's a lot of reasons why she probably didn't. Mainly because Charles made Kay the beneficiary of his will, and Lori was very mad about that. She wanted that money. Also, Lori told Melanie Gibb that she told Kay that she had cancer to try and get Kay to take JJ. Curious. Oh, Brooks, thank you. Denise is how I found you. I love you too, Brooke. Thank you so much for the super chat. So yeah, if Lori told Melanie that she wanted Kay to take JJ, and that she lied to Kay and told her she had cancer so that Kay would feel bad and take JJ. Now, that can't be true, because don't forget that Kay and Larry filed for custody of JJ. Right, and in January, I think. Maybe January, maybe soon. I don't remember the exact date. At some point, Kay and Larry filed for custody of JJ. She absolutely would have taken JJ back if Lori said, will you take JJ? So I don't think Lori ever did that. That was Lori lying and manipulating Melanie Gibb, because Lori lies and manipulates everybody. So, I have to turn the camera off for 1 minute because I have some dribbles and I need to blow my nose. And I don't have waterproof mascara. Tell you what. Okay. Oh, actually, I should mute 1 second. Okay, there we go. Now, of course, I've just removed all the foundation from my nose. So, great. Jess, how do I fix this? Jess is my makeup guru, pal. Oh, anyway. What are her other exes and why aren't they talking? All right, let's talk about Lori Vallow's exes. Her first husband, Nelson Yanes. I believe she married him in 1992. Nobody knows much about him at all. Her second husband, William LaJoya, who is Colby's birth father. She married him in 1995. As far as anyone knows, he's still alive. Okay, not sure if that's true. Some people say he's not. I have nothing to verify whether he's alive or not. Okay. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm stressed now. I need a break. Just let me have my bad vice. It's okay. So her third husband was Joseph Ryan. Joseph Ryan is Tylee Ryan's father, and he adopted Colby. All right, and they had a very nasty custody battle. And that's part of some of the documents that were released this morning that I can't tell you if they're true or not. We'll have to look at that. Her fourth husband was Charles Vallow, who we know was shot to death by Alex Cox, Lori's brother. And her fifth husband is Chad Daybell. So Hillary Wilson says dropping the charges is BS. Hillary Wilson, it is not BS at all. They didn't drop all the charges. They dropped the charges that are no longer relevant to the case because the children were not deserted. The children were killed. So Stephanie Rossi, I know you can't see me. I turned my camera off just for a minute. But you can still hear me. I'll turn it back on in just a minute. Alistair says, I will cover other cases in the future. I am keeping my eye on the Gannon Stout case. I'm waiting for the next hearing for Letitia Stout. I'm also covering the Heidi Broussard case as soon as there's movement with Megan Fieramusca. I'll be covering that. Those are the only three I currently have on watch. But if something big comes up, I'll cover that too. I think I've always had an interest in true crime. I did a lot of work with Paul over the last year. We did some podcasts and things. But I was never really going to cover it because Paul and Denise did that. I would just pop on and be like, the psych friend who would come and talk about psychology stuff or whatever, but now I think this is going to be my deal. Oh, Jess Nelson. Yes. Michael Wayne Jones Jr. We will definitely be covering that. Tatiana Jefferson, if there's any movement, the shooting of Tatiana Jefferson happened just a few miles from my house. I even went out there and visited the home and brought flowers and that kind of stuff. So yeah, if there's anything that happens in that case, definitely be counting that one. Sarah says, Aiden, you won't be able to get out after this. I'm like, yeah, I think you're right. I'm kind of really enjoying this. It's a lot of work. Guys, I spend like 12 hours a day doing this. I had no idea, between the amount of time I spend researching, and then you record your video, you edit the audio, you edit the video, you spend 2 hours exporting it, 4 to 6 hours uploading it, got to do the descriptions, and you have to market it. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is more work than I thought, But at the same time, I am loving this. I am having a great time. But you know what the best part of it is the community that we're having. I get emails and I wake up to a whole bunch of messages in Discord from people saying, Awen, did you see this? Awen, look, I found this. Look at this document. Look at that. And it's like we're crowdsourcing this research, and we talk about it all together. We share information, and it makes for such a pleasant experience, Plus, there are so many wonderful people in this community. It's just amazing. And a lot of that comes from Denise. Like one of the things Denise did once the pandemic hit, right? And when people started having to stay home, Denise was very worried that there were people who would be stuck at home or who couldn't work and didn't have an income and wouldn't have food or supplies or anything like that. So she said, make a channel in Discord and let anybody know if they need anything at all to type it in that channel, and her and I would find a way to get it to you. No matter what we had to do, if you were out of toothpaste, we would get you toothpaste. If you needed food for your kids, we'd get you food for your kids. If you needed medical supplies, whatever you needed, Denise was like, they say the word and we'll get it to them. It's like, all right, let's do it. You know, that's who Denise was. And that was not lip service. Denise, there was nothing about Denise that's lip service. If you told her you needed anything, she would get it. Like my son is autistic. Oh, Rachel Clark, thank you. Says, thank you for the Friday Night Live. You're welcome, Rachel, and thank you for being here. My son is autistic, and his favorite food in the world is Totino's pizza. And after the big run on the grocery stores, we couldn't find Totino's pizza for a while. And this is about to be, a nuclear meltdown in my house. And I'm telling Denise about this, just kind of joking about it. And she's like, I have Totino's. My kids like Totino's. I'm going to send you some Totino's. I'm like, Denise, you can't mail frozen pizza. She's like, I will find a way to mail you these pizzas. I was like, Denise, it's okay, really. But don't you know she would have mailed me the pizzas? Except thankfully I found them like a day later. But that's how she is. And that's the community that Denise envisioned from day one. And that's the community that I want to continue. And that's what I want us to be. Right? So if any of you have need of anything, you just say the word and we'll find someone who can get it to you. Oh, let's see. Wow, she sounds amazing. Does her family need anything? Can we help in some way? They do not. Her husband has said they do not need any fundraisers or any help like that. They're okay. That side of their world is okay. And he hasn't approved any fundraisers or GoFundMe's or anything like that. Although there was, you go back on my channel, there was a NCMEC drive. Someone in the community created some items based on artwork that Denise did, and those funds will be going to NCMEC in Denise's name, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, an organization that was very dear to Denise's heart. But that's the only thing that he okayed, and that's it. So if you hear anyone starting a GoFundMe or anything like that for Denise, don't do it, okay? Because the family did not approve any of that. So let's see. What else we got? I wonder if Tylee had her cell on her the day of Yellowstone. That's a good question. It's a good question because we have Alex's pings from their Yellowstone trip that very clearly point out exactly where they were when. So it'd be interesting to see what Tylee's phone had to say about that. The art was so good, Skraling says. Yep. Yeah, it definitely was. It appears that Lori's second hubby was alive in 2016, William LaJoya. Mm-hmm. He married Nancy Schneider. Wait, are you serious? Tarrant County. I live in Tarrant County. Robin, you may have just found something very important. William LaJoya married someone named Nancy Schneider? All right, let's file that one as something to look into. Because remember, they thought Charles was a zombie taken over by a spirit of Ned Schneider. Very good find. That's amazing. All right, in Tarrant County, too, so maybe I can even go to the courthouse and get the records. Huh. Very interesting. Nancy Schneider. All right, and we're going to look into that. Somebody make a note of that. Yeah, does she have a brother named Ned or Nick? Mm-hmm. That's definitely something to look at. Why couldn't Lori give JJ to Colby? She could have, but she didn't. She's terrible. I'm wearing my shirt with the flowers on her window. Oh, Linda, that's wonderful. I love it. Yep, Georgia, Annie Cushing found a Ned Schneider, who is a demonologist and a published author. And I think there could be a connection there between him and Jason Mao, because when Jason Mao worked on that zombie demon movie, maybe he looked up some of Ned Schneider's work or something, and that's how Chad found out about him. So we don't know, but it makes more sense to me to think that the Schneider name comes from something to do with Lori's ex-husband and maybe his new wife or something. That makes way more sense to me than a zombie movie connection. So Marcy Fleming, you could always refer to JM as that jackwagon. Yep. That's one of my favorite words. That's a good one. I'll do that. We'll call him the jackwagon. Lori wanted money, not the child. Absolutely. If I had been married to Lori, I would hide my face and be very embarrassed. Yep, so would I, Sensible. And maybe that's exactly what they're doing. Chairman Meow. Sharon says, was Lori happy to be a mom, or did she think it was work, like they would act out? You know, it's hard to say. I don't think she was ever happy as a mom. I don't think Lori was ever happy at any point in her life. I don't think she knew how to be happy, you know. But she did tell Melanie Gibb that she thought Tylee had turned into a zombie around the age 12 or 13 when she started to act up as a teenager. And she said a lot of things about JJ's behavior that made her think she was a zombie. And Charles says that she wanted to get rid of JJ. She didn't want anything to do with him. So I don't think Lori was ever a good, happy mom. I think she may have faked it, you know, for publicity's sake sort of thing. But yeah. I think Lori knew she would get inheritance money for JJ and Tylee. Yep, plus Social Security. Absolutely. Lori wouldn't do well around me. She'd have a heck of a lot of trouble with my obstinacy. All right, Robin Swan, William DeJoya, archived record, Fort Worth, Texas. Fort Worth, Texas, my goodness. Previous manager for Texas Top Notch Landscape. All right, well, you have just given me a job because that's where I live. I had no idea William LaJoya was from my town. So I'm going to go look him up. I'm going on a road trip tomorrow. See what I can find in public record searches. Yes, Skraling 1000 says we're going to be driving. Skraling 1000, if you don't know, is my husband. That is Mr. Awen. And he's going to have to take me on a road trip to go look for some public records. April, you're right near me. Excellent. We shall have to meet and have lunch or something. Sarah says you sent me a note in Discord. Okay, let me go check the Discord. Oh, Catnet, thank you for sending me that. Excellent. Catnet got copied and pasted the information about William and Joy and the Snyder name. Perfect. Schneider, rather. Let's see. What do here? I'm trying to click. I had to move my mouse so I could put my microphone here. All right, great. The note in Discord. Perfect. All right, yeah, we're gonna dig up this Schneider name because that sounds way more plausible to me than a demonology book that is almost impossible to find anywhere. Pyrolissa, do you plan on going to the services in Louisiana when they happen? Probably not, Alyssa, mainly because I'm not part of the family. You know, I can feel very bad for them and heartbroken for them and all of that. I don't feel like I should intrude on their services. I think that's crossing a line, but that's just me. I know a lot of the public will go because they are heartbroken for the family. I'm just like, that's family stuff. That's not my place. So we'll see. Look at my DM to you. I made you a meme. A Mimi. Let's go see. Where's Linda? Linda made me a Mimi. Aw. Linda, thank you. Oh, goodness. I'm going to start crying again. Thank you, Linda. I love you, honey. That's beautiful. Everything. Oh, well, that's right. Tomorrow's July 4th. I'm not going for any public record searches tomorrow. Darn it. All right. Well, Monday. But no, not Monday, because my husband has to go back to work. Oh, there was a meltdown at my husband's place of business because his manager tested positive for COVID-19. So the store got closed. All of the employees were sent home. Nobody was allowed to return to work until they got a negative test. But the tests have all started to come back in now. My husband is negative. Everything's fine. But that means he has to go back to work. So, darn it. Timing is just running. I cannot afford to have my husband working because I need to go on road trips and investigate stuff. Oh, goodness. Yeah, but one of these days I'll try and get down to the courthouse and see what I can look up. Very interesting. Thank you for that, because that gives me something to do, Robin. I really appreciate that. And that's what I mean by crowdsourcing this. A lot of creators want to be the one giving you all the information, right? And they don't want to give you links to their sources and all that kind of stuff. Where I'm more like, I don't know what's going on here. Help me figure this out. let's talk about it together. If we put all of our heads together, we're going to get a lot farther than if y'all just rely on me to do it. Because, I'm not Einstein. Well, sometimes I think I am, but I'm not. I get things wrong. I get confused. So working together, I think we'll get a lot farther. So definitely, if you have information like that you want me to look into, just send it to me. I'm not gonna. And if I have information that you want to see sources for, I try to put all of the links in my descriptions. Any of my daily update videos, if I mention a story or a news article or a tweet, the link to that will be in the description because I want you to see it too. Any documents I come across, I put them up in the Discord server. So if you're not in our Discord server, you should be, because that's where I put all the documents. And Discord is totally free. You don't have to pay to join it. It's not Patreon or anything like that. And you can have access to any of the documents I find. They're all up there. The information that I put on Patreon, it's not stuff that you won't hear. How do I explain that? It's not information about the case per se. It's more historical stuff that I feel maybe help us understand the case, but it's not information. You're not missing out. Okay, so you don't have to worry about that. But yeah, I want to bring you the information and say, here, you read this document too. Tell me what you think. We'll put our heads together and come up with a better idea. So that's how I approach true crime on YouTube. Maybe a little different than something you're used to, but I hope it'll be good. So there you go. Susan said, or Susie, Adrian, I really want to know the story. I hope I'm not being rude. I'm not following. What story? If you tell me what story, I will tell you the story. Trace Tamaya, thank you so much for the super chat. Look at that sticker. I love these super chat stickers. They crack me up. Sensible. It's a complicated case. The channel's a good source. East Idaho News is a summary of the developments. Makes it easy to learn. Oh, the story of the case. I wish it was a simple story that I could tell you in 2 sentences or less. Unfortunately, I would need another couple hours. Basically, it's a story about a man and a woman who were on some kind of crazy religious nutcase path, who started a little cult that they were trying to build that didn't get off the ground. And in the course of their trying to build their little cult, 6 people ended up dead, including the woman's 2 children, 2 of her spouses, and her brother, and the man's spouse. So, yeah, that's basically the story, Oh, the story about Denise. Oh, here I was talking about Denise Rainey passed away unexpectedly on June 3rd of this year. She fell ill very quickly and passed away in just a few days of her illness. And according to her husband, we're still waiting on the formal autopsy results. We have some preliminary results. We don't know exactly what it was yet. So that's really all I have to tell you about how she died. But that's why we're here. I should turn my camera back on. Shouldn't I? Of course, I've been messing with my hair and it looks like now. Yeah, I'm still not quite used to seeing myself on camera. Yeah, as far as we know, it was not COVID-19. So we are still waiting for further autopsy results. And when those get back, maybe we'll have some more information for you. So, and now my YouTube's buffering. Come on, YouTube. Stop it. You didn't like me turning the camera on. See? This is what happens. There it goes. Yeah, if you're buffering, go ahead and refresh. It should be fine. Let's see, kept up with chat. If they never get caught, she would have continued collecting money for the children. Yep. She absolutely would have. And she collected money for the children for months after now we know that they were deceased. So hopefully she will get some charges for that too. Do I have any insight into why Lori chose Mark Means as her attorney? Robin's Egg, all I can think at this point is A, he was involved in their community, their crazy prepper end of days culty community thing, or B, he was just so hungry for the publicity he was willing to take it when maybe she couldn't find anyone else, But I think there's more of a community connection there. Same thing with John Pryor and Chad's attorney. Remember that John Pryor and Mark Means know each other, so there's that. So there you go. You're one of them, one of them. Definitely not one of us. I also don't know how to work Discord. Christy, if you can get into Discord, we can help you. It's actually very simple. Once you know the basics of it, it's really easy. So if you can download the app by clicking on the Discord link and make yourself a name and log in, then you can find one of us and we can help you get that going. Oh, I'm sitting here scratching my eye and my camera's on. You know what that's going to do to my mascara and my eyeliner over here in this corner? Great. Now I got a great big smudge. This is not good, guys. I forget. See? Oh, so itchy. And don't scratch your eyes. Thankfully, I'm all sanitized. Don't worry. Yep, Robin, I do have a Discord channel. The mods are dropping the links to it. You should be able to scroll up a little bit and see one. Or they'll put another one very soon. I'm sure. I have to cough again. Hold on. Sharon asks, is her attorney a member of the LDS or of her zombie group? I don't know for sure. I would guess, but we'll have to figure it out. Oh, it's blurry on your end and you don't see the smudges. Good. Sometimes blurry can work to my favor. Works to my advantage if you can't comb my hair like this. There. No smudges anymore. Oh. Yes, the Discord server, Catnet, just dropped a link to the Discord, and so did Sarah. So, oh, Stormy, you're going to bed? Good night. I know it's very late over there in the UK. Thank you for staying up so late with me. I'm looking at my microphone like that's the camera. I think I'm getting tired, guys. Good night, Stormy. Thank you for being here. I love you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Oh, goodness. Means is not a criminal defense. No, Mark Means was like, wasn't he a divorce lawyer? Family law, civil law, something like that. He is not prepared for a criminal defense of a case that is going to be this big. But there's a big question about his eligibility to even represent Lori, because as he was asked in the hearing, have you ever represented anyone else involved in this case? And he said, no, Your Honor. That's not true. And even Rob Wood said, excuse me. And Mark Means even has a tweet on his Twitter account showing that he says, my office is representing Chad Daybell. So what is it? Did you represent Chad Daybell or not? Was that tweet a lie, or are you lying to the judge, or what's going on? So Rob Wood could challenge that and possibly have Mark Means dismissed. So we'll see what happens there. He's completely out of his depth. Yes, he is. And if you go back, one of Denise's last lives was when we covered that 3-hour hearing where Mark Means was trying to get her bond reduced, citing new evidence. His only goodness, I didn't want to talk about it. It was so irritating. But the judge had to keep telling him, you're supposed to stand up when you're addressing the judge. And he just kept not doing it. And it's like, wow, you're not ready for something like this, dude. Yeah, but maybe that's the only lawyer Lori could get. Maybe he's doing it pro bono. Who knows what's going on? But did you ever find out how Lori and Chad are paying for theirs? No idea, Sharon. No idea. Could be pro bono. It could be maybe they had some money in the bank. I have no idea. Can he be asked to testify if he's dismissed? I don't think so. I think lawyer-client confidentiality would cover anything that they discussed while he was her attorney. I don't think he could be called. I don't know for sure. I'm not a lawyer, but it's possible. Denise is looking at you in the background. Get it together. She's like, focus. Your camera is over there, not over there. I know. I'm working on it. The money is rolling out of Chad's portals. Yes, that's where the money's coming from. His portal potty. But yeah, they don't have a high-profile criminal defense attorney. They don't have any Jose Baez type guys on this case, and I don't think they're going to get any. So it's great. Yeah, Skraling made a portal potty meme for Paul's channel, and Paul's turning it into an emoji for the channel. So we'll have portal potty emojis soon. Just what we need. How did you get your name? I love it. That's a monumentally long story, but I do have Welsh ancestry. learning Welsh has been something that's always been a passion of mine, studying the Welsh culture and history and mythology and all of that. So that's how I got my name, basically. Let's see. Yes, Katna just put a link for Reporting Life from My Sofa. That's Paul's channel. Paul's my partner in crime. You got to sub to Paul. I adore this man. Also, Paul and I are going to be going live this weekend over on the podcast channel at some point to talk about some non-Vallow Daybell related stuff going on in the world. The Vanessa Guillen case, the Fort Hood mess, the Shane Dawson mess, because got a lot to say about that. So that'll happen over the weekend. I don't know when yet, but I will be putting links and all that in the community tab. So just keep an eye out for that if you want to come hang out with us there. And Catnit is on top of things. She has the link to the podcast YouTube page. That's where Paul and I will do most of our lives going forward when we do them together, for a whole variety of reasons. But that's the channel to sub to if you want to be notified whenever we do those. Jewel says you two are good together. Thank you, Jewel. I enjoy talking to Paul so much. I really, and I think, and maybe that shows when we're on a live together that we're really enjoying each other's company. So I hope that comes through because that's really the case. He is fantastic. I was so mad in that live at Lawyer Brooke. I remember I was there with you and Denise, and we were all just like screaming. And he showed up with that bandit face mask on. He looked like, he was trying to rob a stagecoach or something. Goodness, Mark Means as a character. Oh, that was funny. But anyway, I have been on here for a long time, and as you can see, my nose is running, my eyes are leaking. I don't know why they're leaking, but I think I need to go and spend a few minutes with Denise, if that makes sense. I really miss her. So please take a minute and subscribe to her channel. You can watch all her stuff on the case. She's wonderful. So get to know her. Anyway, if there's any news over the weekend in the case, I will have videos up. If you want to check out my Patreon, there are 3 videos so far in the series about Mormonism, end time cults, narcissists, and Chad, and all kinds of stuff like that. And join our Discord because we have all the documents and a lively discussion going on about this case there. I say a lot of things in Discord I wouldn't be comfortable saying in a public video, so that's a good place for a chat. Thanks you to everybody for the super chats. I can't tell you how good that makes me feel. It's like, I didn't expect to have 2,500 subs after a week of doing this. I'm astounded, but I will be working every single day to make sure I bring you the best coverage I can on this case based on facts, verified information, and then once a week we'll get together like this and talk about all the rumors, because who doesn't like to speculate? I know I do. So this gives us our place to do that. But thank you so much for all the support. I appreciate every single one of you being here. Thanks to the mods. Man, you guys were on top of it tonight. You got all the trolls whacked. You got all the links out. I couldn't do this without any of you. So thank you so much. I love you all. All right, and I will talk to you over the weekend. Stay tuned to the community tab, wherever that is. I can't even point because I don't know where things are. And any links to the live streams I will put up there. So good night. Thank you for being here, and I will talk to you all soon. Oops. There we go. Bye.